I say the cringy taketh the truth to be hard.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Midnight Mormons. I am your host, Cardinals, with Kwaku L.
Hello.
And Brad Wickbeck.
Hey.
And Kwaku, to start things off, we're just going to jump right in.
Yes.
You've mentioned a lot about, quote, Calvinists.
Right.
So I looked into what Calvinists actually are online. And
that's a you should not have done that.
Well, it's actually really funny. And I'm actually going to show you the first one here, who ironically, his name is Jeff Durbin. Mm-hmm. And he's the head of that Apologia Studios that had the really cool set that you were on when I first saw you online. The very first time I saw you online, and I thought, wow, this guy's mopping the floor with these people, was when you had an argument at Apologia Studios. So anyway, this cat, we're going to do a little bit of Christian cringe here.
Oh, geez.
Shall we say?
Oh, boy.
So I want when you play it, I want the audience to know that I call Jeff Durbin the Burger King. And you're gonna see why. Like, look at his face. We'll have to pause it so you can see it. But look at his face.
Okay, wait. Well, now we're actually going to have to. Now we're actually going to have to show these people why you call him the Burger King before we jump into this.
Okay, that's Jeff Durbin.
Okay, so this is Jeff Durbin right here. All right, getting all ready for his show, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Burger King mascot.
You cannot tell me he does not look like...
You know what, dude?
It's the beard, dude.
That
the cone beard coming down.
Yeah, look at that. That is a striking resemblance.
Is he from... I can't tell if he's from like Ireland or Spain. You know, and he's got kind of a Mediterranean look, but also kind of like an...
both.
Yeah.
It's the Spaniards who got blown off course when attacking England ended up in Ireland. Yeah.
And his family line made their living by selling like really bad burgers, like made from sickly cows. You know what I mean?
Well, dude, I mean, we do have to take another look at this because, ladies and gentlemen, there is Jeff Durbin. And there is
You cannot tell me he is not the Burger King.
You cannot make that up. Okay, cool. So, well, first, let's actually just go through and let's see what this cat has to say. All right? What do you guys say?
But by the way, let's be clear. I'll give this to Apologia. They're trying to reach a younger audience. I don't know if they do, but they're trying. And so in their way of doing that is to start a comedy show. So this is Pastor Jeff Durbin, who is not a comedian, who has never been a comedian. Us three have done comedy, right? This guy is never. And so he's doing a comedy show. So we're gonna watch a Calvinist comedy show. Maybe it's hilarious.
So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Meet Jeff Durbin.
I don't have my hopes.
Wait, from the beginning. Oh, it's going off.
How much louder can you get it without feedback?
That song's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, so
Is this crowd against him or is he high-fiving him?
So yeah, the crowd is. By the way, that pause real quick.
Okay.
When I met Jeff Durbin, he had his two little girls, like his two daughters there. I can't say for certain, but I'm pretty sure they were at such a lack of like casting. He had to bring his own daughters in to play protesters against him.
No, but that's all good. Like, all of us are in that same boat when we're trying to do low-budget stuff, right?
Yeah, but
you know what I'm
do you
saying?
really want, look, if I'm going to, like the joke
we can't
here,
knock him for low budget. It's a Christian, but we're low budget. Look at the
No,
but
Cardin, this isn't our job.
Oh, that's true.
You know what I mean?
No. And that's why whenever I see
gig.
whenever I see the videos of like, you know, Christians own Mormon missionaries that these Apologia Studios guys do.
Yeah.
I literally comment and I say, I literally just watched two volunteers who paid their own way for 2 years to volunteer proselyte, basically hold their own against a guy who is paid to study the Bible.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's not a competition. It's like, if I go out and I am on par with Tiger Woods, if I go to any golf course out there and I golf 1 under par, it's gonna be my greatest day of the year. All right. Mm-hmm. But if Tiger Woods is in my group and he's golfing 1 under par with me, at that point, I'm like, dude, like, you're the pro. We should not be the same, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, let's see what just came out here. I think this, my friends, is actually quite hilarious. So let's keep going.
Respect our mother. Wait, why are environmentalists protesting Jeff Durbin?
I don't know. I think he's.
Queer showing here.
There's a lot of church and state here, but it's all good.
Oh, the Burger King is bringing a gat.
Okay, he's got an AR-15.
Thank
Dude.
you.
This is gonna be
Welcome
epic.
to next
Dude,
week,
oh my
everybody. I am Jeff Durbin. As you can see, things are getting very serious, and so let's talk about what's happening this week. You guys ready for it? Now,
Wait.
There's got to be a better list.
Not only did he only cast his friends and daughters, that was his studio audience. There was like 6 people clapping. He walks out. As you can see, it's getting serious. You guys ready to talk about some news? Woo!
Okay, let's let him roll.
There's like
That's what
4
it was.
people. Uh-huh.
Let's
Yeah.
let him roll. And the only reason why we mention this is because you guys, you have to remember that these are the people that make fun of us.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the people who make their careers making fun of Mormons. So we kind of feel like it's a little bit humorous right now to return the favor in kind. So let's see.
And also,
What one
I'm
Jeff
not sure if
Durbin-
the audience knows the reason why Durbin, James White, Aaron Shafawalev don't like our church, because it's not based on religious reasons. If you know the stories behind these guys,
Yeah.
he's like a.
Well, also, I just think I think it's a hatred learned by their fathers because
Yeah, of course,
during
yeah,
the
yeah.
1860s and 70s, all of the Baptist church, all of the Calvinist church, they hemorrhaged members to our faith.
Yeah.
And so they started trying to teach people on their way out, oh, don't talk to missionaries, oh, hate Mormonism for X, Y, or Z reason. When in reality it was because they were losing market share. And it's kind of a pathetic reason to hate people because 100 years ago, your great-grandfathers lost 50 constituents to the Mormons is like a really pathetic reason to hate
But
a
Seriously.
faith.
But the other thing is, a lot of this is a really big thing in Arizona, because there's a Reformed theology surge in Arizona, and most of those people are like ex-addicts and ex-alcoholics who go into Calvinism. It's like a very strong correlation.
Oh, interesting.
And a lot of these people are from Arizona. You know who is like the prom king and queens and like the popular kids, you know, and like in like a lot of it's the Mormon kids, right? And
Okay.
it's the bigger houses, a lot of money, and very clean cut. And there's literally like a social anger between Arizona Calvinists, who are like the tatted up craft beer people, and the Mormons, who are like the clean preps. That I always say, high school never ends. This is all like literally the high school like lunch table, the common area of
Man.
like the rebels and the preps.
Okay,
and it
so let's see
stayed
if
that
this
way.
guy's let's see if this guy's the funny prom king, shall we?
I'm gonna call it right
all
now. Calvinists can't be funny. I'm calling it right now. Okay, keep going.
Corinthian Baptist Church. She's pregnant, out of wedlock, and she refuses to step down from the pulpit. But her church is called First Corinthians. If you know anything about that city and that book, that makes sense.
Wait,
In
Did
an
he
interview
just
with Forbes
explain his
magazine,
joke?
Donald-
Wait! Oh
so that was
Oh,
his
no!
punchline? I mean, okay, for what it's worth,
no! Wait, but
I
guys,
guess he
guys,
knows his
was-
audience. It's just 5 people, right? Like,
No,
I-
but we can't mock him for the audience size. He just his opening joke had to get explained. And if
Go
you're
First Corinthians, and that's funny if you know the story.
Oh no, this is bad.
Okay.
Let's keep
Yeah.
going. Let's let him talk. Let's let this poor man talk.
Can you get
this
any
is bad.
louder,
I haven't
by
seen
the
this
way?
one before.
yeah, we turn him up a
We
little.
can't really hear it.
Okay, here we go.
Sorry if it's weird feedback, but
It's all good. Here we go.
Trump challenged Secretary of State Rex Tillerson to an IQ test. There's no joke there. I'm just telling you that that's the President of the United States. That's who we have. A Baltimore
okay,
Okay.
pause again. So that was 2 bombs, but
Yeah.
he
Joke
said,
2 was literally not a
You
joke.
know that's bad when the first joke is, here's why it's funny. The second joke is, this isn't a joke.
Oh no.
Your
We-
first 2 jokes on your comedy show?
Yeah,
Look.
seriously. Like, you've got to start strong. Like, this is obviously scripted, right? He was supposed to lead with his
Look,
best
guys,
possible joke.
We need to help comfort those in need of comfort, help those in need of help of comedy. We should volunteer
I will
to
write for
help
him.
this guy. I give this guy credit though because
Beautiful
the
set.
set design, they obviously put a lot of money into
That's
this.
true.
Okay. And so
And the gun.
Yeah, but that's the same. What's that? The woman who's hosting, she took over Craig Ferguson's spot or something.
Yeah.
She's Canadian. She's bisexual. I'm not sure. she's
Lily
first
Singh?
name- Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the issue with Lily Singh. Her set is great. Her style of clothing is great. Her funny is not there, and so
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh no."
She's so good with sketch, but then you put her in a situation where she's running a show.
He's a great martial artist.
Yeah. Yeah. But then when he's running a comedy show, he just wasn't trained for this. It's different than what he's used to doing.
I actually think it's the same. I feel the same level of if I got punched in the face by a martial artist is the same thing I feel
let's
watching
let him
his
finish.
comedy.
Let's let him finish his monologue here. Let's let him.
One more joke. I gotta say one more thing, Carden. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't know why he has an AR-15 because his jokes are bombs enough. Do you understand?
Oh,
I'm just
dad
saying.
joke. Dad joke.
Oh,
You don't
man.
even have kids and you're busting out a dad joke.
I know. Look at that.
So, okay, so here we go. We're actually just going to jump right back in. Let Jeff Durbin hang himself.
Welcome
here
to
from the
next
beginning.
week, everybody. I am Jeff Durbin.
From the beginning.
As you can see, things are getting very serious, and so let's talk about what's happening this week.
I want to hear
You
the
guys ready
Corinthians
for
joke
it?
again. Because I didn't get this
Now,
the first
a
time.
female pastor of, get this, First Corinthian Baptist Church. She's pregnant, out of wedlock, and she refuses to step down from the pulpit. But her church is called First Corinthians. If you know anything about that city and that book, that makes sense. In an interview with Forbes magazine, Donald Trump challenged Secretary of State Rex Tillerson to an IQ test. There's no joke there. I'm just telling you that that's the President of the United States. That's who we have.
Oh, this is kind of
A
bad.
Baltimore school was actually evacuated due to an overabundance of pumpkin-spiced air freshener. The students hated it, saying that if there were a smell to hell, it would be pumpkin spice. A man in Minnesota lived in a house with the decomposing bodies of his mother and his twin brother. It was over 1 year before he reported their deaths to the authorities. The authorities asked him, wasn't the smell overpowering? He said, no, I just covered it with pumpkin spice air freshener. The king of Saudi Arabia.
Just a second here.
I'm sorry.
I feel like what happened here is I feel like he's just seen a bunch of late night talk shows and is trying to mimic the pattern of how they talk, but he's saying these things that are not punchlines. He doesn't have effective setups for anything that he's saying. And then he's just like,
Are you suggesting that instead of accepting the fact that Christians are a peculiar people and will be different than the world, that he's tried to adopt the style of Babylon in order to be perceived as funny and cool by Babylon?
Yeah.
It is strangely fulfilling scripture instead of refuting it.
I would say this is just a beautiful physical representation of how like mainstream Christians, like the ending of their stuff doesn't make sense, so their view of heaven and salvation just falls down. It's like the end of their joke.
You know, I
It's
didn't
just,
get that.
and then
Yeah.
boom. It just
Seriously, you went seriously metaphorical with this. I just want to help the guy. I just want to help the guy land a solid joke.
he
By
just
the way,
needs better writers.
Well, and if you have the money for that freaking set, I mean, look at this thing. That set is freaking
beautiful.
gorgeous.
That's a great set. Yeah.
You've got the money, Jeff Durbin, for a laugh track. If
And-
you only got 5 members of the church that are in your freaking studio audience, you've got money for a motherfucking laugh track, all
and
right?
I will say this
50
about him.
cents on Pond 5 or YouTube.
So far, I think he's proven himself to be a pretty effective public speaker. He has like a good inflection. He has
He's
a good
pastor.
voice.
He knows how to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just think if he had good writing, it would
Oh,
probably
and as a
land.
polemicist, this guy is awesome. He will literally go with a megaphone and look up how many decibels you're allowed to use. As I was doing my research, I saw him. He'll figure out how many decibels you're allowed to use on a megaphone before it's disturbing the peace, and go outside of like abortion clinics and just like start like praying and like just like making loud noises
he-
until the cops come. And I was like, I mean, as a polemicist, this dude's point, his game is
he's
A+.
a great he's a great troll when he's in his element. You know, when he's like trying to get people, like get under people's skin, he's doing great. But he's trying to go into a different because the audience of very right-wing, reformed Christian, anti-abortion, Nickelback hipster types is really
Nickelback
small,
hipsters.
and it's not enough to sustain, you know, what he wants to do.
Yeah.
So he's trying to get out there now.
Yeah.
But okay, my tips. I'm gonna be shallow boy from Houston for a sec. Okay, one,
Yeah.
new hair.
You do that
This combed back. You got to get the new hair. You got to lose the beard. You got to have a better
No,
suit.
but look, if that's his vibe, I say just stick with his vibe. All I'm saying
I
is-
firmly disagree. If he's
Really?
trying to get young millennials and Gen Z. Nickelback was popular in the early 2000s.
Well, yeah,
it's
but
not popular
you
anymore.
wear giant dad white shoes. Like,
Look, Kwaku,
Yeah.
the fact of the matter
Kanye
is,
does. That's why I wear them, right?
Kwaku, if
You know
he
what I mean?
changes his look, he loses his Burger King sponsorship.
Oh, that's
oh,
true.
that's true. Wait, one more time. Now that we got him here, there's Jeff
You
Durbin.
cannot tell me he does not look like
is
the Burger King.
Burger King.
Oh,
Look, there.
wait. And James White looks like
Burger
Jack in the
King.
Box. Look at Jack.
Okay, so anyway, let's go back and let's let him tell all of his jokes and let's see what's going on here.
Arabia announced that women are now finally allowed to drive. Right? Guys don't seem too excited about that. It makes sense, though. This came just a short time after he tried putting a woman in our White House. Yep, the brand new Star Wars
Was that supposed to be
trailer
Hillary
just
Clinton
came
joke?
out for The
Yeah.
Last Jedi.
I will say
right?
this: we are watching.
That was his best joke so far, though.
It was a good
Yeah.
joke, and this, like, for the time period, it was probably better too, because we're looking at a video from 2017, where it was right after the 2016
I could
election.
go watch Steven Crowder from 8 years ago or Bill Maher from 10 years ago, and the jokes still land.
That's
You know
true,
what
yeah,
I mean?
that's
Yeah.
That's true.
I kind of feel bad
He's
for
not
this
talking
guy.
about Ralph Nader. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like we all know who Hillary Clinton
Well,
is.
so anyway, this is from 2017 though. It's the first one that came up. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying?
Oh, really?
He's got a bunch of them. It's like every week, but I don't know. It's just not landing with me. We'll just go. We'll go over a little bit more, just a little bit more
Maybe
here.
we'll get.
See what he has to
It's
say.
bound to have one that's
Yeah.
okay.
Came out yesterday. Or as Mike Pence called it, something else to walk out of. And
He needs to get more people in that
speaking of
audience.
This news, it is still on football thanks to Mike Pence. That's right, after the news of the national anthem protest started to die down, Mike Pence happened. He walked out of a football game this weekend when the players refused to stand. He was actually just going to get a hot dog, but once he realized that people thought he was leaving, he was all in. He was kind of an awkward situation. What do I guess I'm leaving, right? Instead of standing, some players were kneeling and some players were sitting. So, in protest, our vice president left the game, knelt down, got on his plane, and sat down. It was reported that his plane ride to and from the football game, get this, it cost the taxpayers of these United States $250,000. With that kind of money, he could have went to see Hamilton. All of this.
That wasn't a joke. That was a declarative statement.
Well,
that would buy you a Hamilton ticket. That is true.
I mean, it was, but he did go to see Hamilton. But he's referencing such oblique like moments in history that I don't even think like that's why people in
that's
the
a
audience
Hamilton
didn't
called
really
out Mike
get it.
Pence, but it's
Yeah, but it was like there was no setup to lead to that conclusion for your audience,
So
right?
he's talking about how Mike Pence left the game, and he's trying to
Okay.
point out how he's hypocritical because they're kneeling, and so he went and sat down, and then he sat.
Yeah. So look,
I mean, but you know.
Yeah, it's just like
Okay, I will convert to Calvinism if he promises to never make a joke again.
Yeah.
I will convert.
So look here. The only reason why I really mention this, guys, is because we don't even have to watch anymore. All right, I won't make us watch anymore. But I do have a general belief that the side that can make jokes is the winning side. And just like in politics, we kind of make a joke that, okay, the left can't meme. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of gives me a general feeling that when in doubt, err on the side of the conservative judgment, because that's where the funny is. I really think the person that has the funny is in the right many times. I know that's not a good way to judge your moral character. You know what I'm saying? But it's like my favorite picture of Jesus. Let's actually see if we can just look this up right now really fast. But my favorite picture of Jesus is actually this painting that was done by an artist where Jesus is laughing, because I thoroughly believe, and this isn't the only picture of Jesus that's of merit and worth out there. But actually, let's just take a look at it. One of these paintings is very similar to it. I love the pictures of laughing Jesus because personally, I think God, he does two things. He weeps. We know he weeps in scripture, and I'm pretty confident that he laughs. Mm-hmm. All right. You know what I'm saying? And so if there's laughter to be had, I usually think generally you're in the right. And unfortunately, when you are struggling through this monologue, I just, you don't seem like you're laughing too much. So let's listen to two more, and then we'll finish our discussion on our Calvinist friends over here. Here we go.
Kaepernick, there you go. See, it shows you how much I know about this, right? When Kaepernick took a knee last season during the national anthem in protest to cops and racial violence, since most of us don't actually know the lyrics to the national anthem, I thought we were kind of already protesting it. So, America was.
Oh my gosh! All right, wait, dude, bro, you don't start off your joke by talking about how much you don't know about the topic, and then go and we don't even know the national. Yeah, we do. Everyone does.
By the way, you have got to look at this cat's face. Like, it's literally a face of like defeat where he knew it didn't land.
Like, you can see the low self-esteem just like trickle in.
So hold on, we're gonna watch this really fast, and just like I'm gonna pause on the face.
Since most of us don't actually know the lyrics to the national anthem, I thought we were kind of already protesting it. So.
He's like, oh, that didn't land.
protest.
That didn't land. You know what I'm saying?
Oh dear.
man,
So did
that
it
is
ever get
hilarious.
better than this? Like, can we pull up a more
I've
recent
never seen
one
this
and see
before.
if it's
No, I've seen a couple.
because I'm looking. There's one from like 6 months ago here.
Yeah, let's do it. Watch here. We're gonna do this in real time. All right, just so everybody in the audience knows that we're being 100% transparent here. We'll go to Apologia Studios.
So,
And then,
the gospel of the kingdom.
Oops. There's Burger King. Right there. By the way, I will not pass a chance to compare him to Burger King mascot. That is
the Burger
hilarious. And then where's the most recent one, bro?
Probably go to playlists. It might be under there next week with Jeff Durbin. Might be.
Okay, so here we go with playlists. And
Maybe it is. Oh, next week
Next
clips.
week clips?
Is it that or keep going down? Maybe
What's
it's-
up,
let's
guys? I'm Jeff.
see.
No, those are just highlights of despair. You might want to go back to
Okay.
yeah, I would just scroll down a little more.
Yeah, geez, man.
Yeah, where
It's got to be.
Oh, here's Mormonism. Dog, should we?
there's an entire
Dare we?
77 videos.
Oh, yeah, they hate us. I'm
Oh,
telling you.
dude.
Dude.
Okay, let's watch a little more next week first, and then let's go after his Mormonism stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, sweet. All right. So click on next week clips is what you're saying
no,
we
just
should do?
type in next week Jeff Durbin in the search bar.
Next
I don't
week-
think they have a playlist.
Yeah, I guess they haven't. They really should set
I
that
would
up.
bury this
Jeff
too if I was
Durbin.
them, though, so I get it.
Jeff Durbin next week.
Oh man.
This is actually really fun. Next week. And streamed 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 1 year ago. I think. Oh, next week.
6 months was
right
the-
here. Oh.
Okay,
yes,
April.
there's the
April
sick
2020.
okay, this I'm feeling it. Actually, I give him credit.
Okay, this is cool.
I like this intro right here. All right, you ready? Get set, go. Oh! Ah, he's vaping. He's vaping,
Was
dogs.
he really just vaping, or was that cold?
Or was he not vaping?
I don't know. I mean, that was April. April
That's
in
true.
Tempe, Arizona. I don't think there's much.
Yeah,
cold.
there's not cold.
Or maybe it's just really cold outside. Oh, he missed the hit.
No, I mean, this is April in Tempe, Arizona. It's not cold at all. It's gonna be.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not
I get
probably
it. This is
vaping.
the right stuff shot. Okay, cool.
Hey guys, welcome back to Next Week with Jeff Durbin. Very excited about tonight's episode. Make sure you guys go to apologiastudios.com to get more. APOLOGIA.
Dude, he still doesn't have his,
You guys can partner with us there as a ministry. You
he
get
still
all
doesn't
kinds
have
of radio
his,
shows,
studio
television
audience,
shows,
dude.
All that stuff is there. Also go to endabortionnow.com. You can sign up
Okay.
with your local church, you get free training, get
Let's
free
go to the jokes.
resources.
Ready to the
I've
jokes?
advertised before, we promoted before. It was amazing.
Ready the jokes?
Totally different kids all around the world. Let them do it.
this- I don't think
the
this is
man's
one of the
supposed
monologue
to know them. and
Oh,
getting
bummer.
Yeah, we need to go to the dialogue.
Oh, dude, where's the funny?
Oh, did
I
did he
mean-
just turn it into like just a talk show and got rid of the monologues
Maybe he
after a
got
while?
rid of the funny. I don't know.
Because I mean, I mean, if he did, then I guess he figured it out,
I
right?
bet he probably
Okay.
needed to hire comedy writers, but like if you're a comedy writer trying to make it big, are you gonna go work for like the borderline Southern Poverty Law Center, like pinged,
Yeah.
like crazy Tempe
Oh,
church
dear.
that everyone in the area thinks is like, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. All right,
especially in the world of comedy, with it leaning so liberal. Like, I bet having that on your resume would actually kind
And
of
like I think
blacklist you.
some of the best comedians are the ones who aren't necessarily liberal or conservative. They're the ones who call out things that, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what being a comedian is.
So
right?
basically,
But
what did we learn from this experience?
Calvinists can't be funny. No. It's true. Calvinists can't be funny.
But do you think that the legalistic approach to the gospel, which is unfortunately what I feel like I find a lot in evangelical, aka Calvinist circles, really inhibits your ability to be funny?
Yes, and here's why. Because so who was the only person who could criticize the king was the court jester, right? Mm-hmm. And what is it's this famous quote from Shakespeare. It says, "Jesters often prove the prophets," or something like that. It's like a really beautiful quote. Dang, I really wish I had it. But
Well, no, when you say gestures often prove the prophets, that's one of my favorite phrases. That we used to listen to politicians and laugh at comedians. Now we laugh at politicians and listen to comedians. So
Right.
I think a lot of what you say is true. And actually, Brad here had a really interesting quote. What was your quote, Brad?
Oh, the
From
Moliere one?
Yeah.
That the duty of comedy is to correct men by amusing them.
right.
And one of the things that I think happens with things like what we just watched is his goal isn't to correct men by amusing them, right?
Yeah.
The point of this show, I don't know, based on the opener that we watched, it
It was a try hard to seem cool.
it feels self-aggrandizing. And
Yeah.
and I think that it comes across as like it doesn't, I mean, when you look at their website for their actual church, it says to bring
Okay.
people to Christ. I don't feel like anything that we just watched actually
Is doing
helped
that.
point towards Christ. And so that's
Yeah.
kind of something that I feel like it wasn't correcting men, and it definitely wasn't amusing them. So I think that's
They're trying to be like, we're the cool rebel Christians, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing less rebellious than making an A of yourself, trying to copy Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's so submissive. And I think the
Well,
when-
it does strangely put them in the position of determining what's cool and worthwhile, when in reality, we believe there's an inherent worth to everybody, and that we don't rely upon third-party critics in the world to tell us what's worthwhile.
I think when you're a comedian, right? The comedian's job, one of Patrice O'Neal's best quotes is that as a comedian, your job isn't always to make the entire audience laugh.
Uh-huh.
It's that 50% of the audience should be laughing really hard. The other 50% should be horrified or thinking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wait, who
That
said
is
that?
good.
Patrice O'Neal, right?
Okay, that is
Rest
hilarious.
in peace.
Okay.
And comedians, they're the ones who find out what's off and make you look at the thing that's off and make you laugh.
Uh-huh.
And that's the search for truth. When you're searching for like, let's be the most real we can be here.
And that, I think, is part of the main problem that I'm seeing with what we just watched from Jeff Durbin. It's a similar problem to what I see in a lot of like gospel-centered videos.
It's why Christian media sucks,
Yeah,
and they can't pull off a good movie besides God is Dead that preaches at you.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. It preaches at you. It preaches at you in a way that it's trying to just tell you you're bad if you don't do these things this way, right? It's not trying to get you to think about a concept and how you relate to it. It's telling you, you do these things, you're bad and should change, right? Like I think it's kind of a lazy form of helping people change their ways. It puts way too much of the impetus on them.
Okay, do you think some of this lack of funny is just personality, because maybe they were gifted with the gift of gab and preach and not necessarily the gift of humor? Or do you think it's something that comes along with a frame of mind that happens with this kind of
I think-
interpretation of faith?
I think when your message of salvation is that when you die, not much happens and most people fail, there's not a spirit of joy or entertainment or theatrical, praise there. It's just.
But do they really say that?
No,
I mean, come on.
But I mean, that's part of the thing. I
Gordon,
think.
you don't know Calvinists like I know them. There are two good Calvinists: the Robins, or the Kennedys, Ken and Kennedy, and her husband. Those the rest are nuts. The rest are nuts.
So here's what I'll say about it. I think that there's a certain amount of it that could be fixed with training, right?
Yeah.
Like if he were more well trained in writing specifically, I think things would have been better because he does have a decent presence and the ability to speak well.
By the way, he was a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, which is
he was
Shut
in
up,
like
Jeff
the late
Durbin
90s.
was a
He was one
Ninja
of the Ninja
Turtle?
Turtles. Yeah.
yeah, dude.
I hope
Dude,
I'm not
I
getting
love
that wrong.
this guy.
Yeah, he was.
I don't care how bad his jokes were. He's a motherfucking Ninja
Dude,
Turtle?
if Jeff
Which one
Durbin
was he?
did Calvinism and karate and made that a YouTube channel of like breaking wood and saying like here are the 5 solas, B. And then go that would be cool. I would
That would be
watch
funny.
that. You
But-
know what I mean?
but I
Dude,
think
no,
there's
think
something to
about
be
it.
said.
Calvinist Karate Kid or Calvinism in karate, and he's just like, "You want to sleep with your girlfriend? Whapa! Boom, boom!" Breaks like 7 pieces of wood. And is like, "This is what Jesus says about that." Kabah! You know?
That would be awesome.
And amusing.
It would be amusing.
Yeah.
Because it's his talent. You know what I mean? Like, it's like God gives you gifts, Jeff Durbin, and your gifts, you work together to preach your thing. But when you're trying, to me, this comes off as insecure. It comes off as he really wanted to be in the movies. He wanted to be an actor kind of a guy, and
Yeah.
he's now a pastor, and he's trying to, like, can I make it work together? But you're not a comedian.
But
Okay,
here's one of the things about that though, Kwiku. Like what you were saying with when your worldview is so sad, it makes it hard to make people laugh. I think a lot of modern comedy, like some of the woke comedy stuff that we're
Same
seeing,
problem, yeah.
yeah, it's exactly the same issue. So I think if he's drawing from there and he's watching some of those people and like pulling from that for what he does on his show, there's another reason for why it's going to fall flat, because that kind of stuff just does not lead to actual funniness, because it doesn't land in truth.
Right. Also, red, white, black.
Dude, those are my high school colors. I'm loving this website, dude.
Am I going? This looks like Dracula.com. You know, this is like. Also, I'm just gonna say, when people like when a big criticism of your church is that you remind them of a giant, violent, anti-Semitic, racist Nazi cult.
What?
White, red, and black probably shouldn't be your colors.
Oh no! I also will say, I worked with a web developer a couple of years back who said, I have never seen any site in black that didn't first come off as a porn site or end up one. And so he was like, we can never make a website for a client black because they literally, that's what they'll do just for porn sites.
Oh, that is funny. That is actually really funny. Okay, cool. So we can actually end this segment right here. I think we saw everything we needed to see.
Yeah.
That it just didn't land, shall we say?
And neither does Calvinism.
Oh, geez.
Oh, yeah.
That was savage, but
It's
true.
but I know it really is because of the truth. Literally, if you don't have truth, you cannot make comedy. That's
Well, then
part
how
of
are
the core of it.
atheists so
Can
funny?
we say
Because they're talking about truths. Whenever there's an atheist comedian saying a funny joke, it's because they're talking about something that's actually true. Just because someone's atheist doesn't mean that they don't know anything that's true.
I would also
right?
push back on both though. Atheist comedians used to be funny during the okay, when I was a little
Back
kid.
when the right controlled the
Yeah.
culture and they were the rebels.
Like, remember when all the conservative Christians, not all, but a lot were getting up in arms about The Secret Life of the American Teenager, like the TV show, and
Yeah, and
like,
they were
"It's-"
angry that MTV existed and stuff
it's
like
the
that.
atheist comedians back then were funny because they were being atheistic to, I call it the Jesus of suburbia, you know, like the
Okay, yeah.
cul-de-sac Christianity.
Yeah.
But now atheist Christians are just woke Christians, and they're really cringy too. I say the cringy taketh the truth to be hard, as opposed to the wicked taketh the truth to be hard, because it's just.
That is funny. I like that.
That was hilarious. The cringy taketh the truth to be hard. So, his name's Jeff Durbin, a.k.a. Burger King mascot, and you can check him out at apologiastudios.com.